it's LUCIDPIXUL, and this is the M4 iPad Pro 13-inch with nano texture glass. This is my official, somewhat long-term professional artist review. And I'm going to start, as I very often do, putting emphasis on the fact that this is something that I teach. I live and breathe this stuff every single day. And the reason why I'm shining a light on this is because I'm not a standard tech YouTuber who have amazing high quality reviews out there that I watch all the time and are very often the culprits in my spending habits because they produce such great content. However, the reason why I'm emphasizing the artistic side of this is because I do feel, whether Apple will admit it publicly or not, that I am the target market for this particular product, the M4 iPad Pro, all of the iPad Pros. Because one of the things that I've highlighted, and I continue to highlight through every iPad Pro review that I've put out over the years, is the opposite of what most tech YouTubers share. I had a differing opinion when it came to the studio displays, and I've had a differing opinion when it comes to iPad Pros as well. So for instance, in my M2 iPad Pro review, which you can check out right over here, that I posted a couple of years ago, everybody was like, oh, Apple Pencil Hover, big yippity dip. It's some software upgrade. You think I'm going to upgrade for some stupid cursor thing? What's the point? And they would also preface that in saying, I'm not a professional artist, so whatever, and then they'd go on with the review. And their general opinion of it was, it's an iPad, nothing's changed. But I really honestly feel that they are meant to miss the point on what this product is about because it's not their milieu and Apple doesn't inform them otherwise. Apple lets you know this is the newest, latest, greatest, most powerful with all these little new bells and whistles, and everybody kind of goes, okay, whatever. When Apple Pencil Hover came out, everybody, no big deal. To an artist like me, who's been working with and following the trend of art tech and, more importantly, mobile pen displays, which this is, I knew for a fact that Apple Pencil Hover was revolutionary and the final cherry on the sundae when it came to mobile drawing tablets. And I have a full, almost documentary style timeline video that I posted right over here, highlighting why Apple Pencil Hover, specifically on the iPad Pro, changed the game. So I suggest you go and check that out. Now with this new edition, the M4 iPad Pro, the big differences are we now have squeeze on the Apple Pencil Pro, which looks identical to the original Apple Pencil, but that's only in appearance. A lot of the tech inside has changed dramatically. And in this particular case, the nano texture glass. And I had to smirk when Apple was advertising the benefits of nano texture glass, specifically on the iPad Pro, because they also have the studio displays with nano texture glass, which I feel is not nearly as useful as this. It doesn't serve as much of a purpose as this. I would probably advocate for the standard glass, which I have right in front of me. I have one right next to me right here. But when it comes to this as a pen display, that's a totally different story. And Apple advertised the nano texture glass as being light diffusing. So for instance, if I hold this up to my lights, you can see where the edges, which don't have nano texture glass, are highly reflective. You can see my grid on my light there, where this nano texture glass is diffusing it somewhat, making it disrupt the image a little bit less. And yeah, that's true. And I have used this outside on my porch. I sit down in the sun with my cats and I answer emails and stuff like that. I do all that kind of stuff. But that is not even remotely the most valuable reason why nano texture glass has been implemented, but you're not going to hear it from Apple. Apple, I'm convinced, pulled a clever move to see how people responded to nano texture glass on the iPad Pro. They released it and said it's good for brightly lit rooms. It helps a little bit. It's not a total game changer as far as that's concerned. It's good to have, but nothing that I think is significant enough to buy it. However, as a pen display, how it looks and how it feels with an Apple Pencil is everything. And a lot of people, I was very surprised to hear that a lot of people's reviews and opinions of the nano texture glass when drawing on it was, it feels pretty much like standard glass. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that comment. It doesn't feel like standard glass. But I think the reason why people had that opinion was because it wasn't gritty. It wasn't rough. It didn't have a sandy feel to it that really gives you a strong tactile response to it. No, it's not like that at all. But you know what it is exactly like? One of the most popular pen displays on the market, a Cintiq, a pen display, a professional pen display. In fact, it doesn't only have the resistance and the feel and the texture of a Cintiq, a pen display, a Huion, XP Pen, Zen Labs, etc. It's an improved pen display. If you hold this against a Wacom Cintiq, it's smoother, it's silkier, and the image quality is noticeably better. Albeit Cintiqs have excellent image quality, but nothing beats an Apple display. Apple displays are the gold standard. And one of the reasons being is the gross majority of the people who are going to be looking at your artwork are going to be looking at it with a cell phone, a device with a display that has been calibrated as closely to studio displays, iPad displays, and any other display that comes from Apple. So what you see here is as close to a representation of what people are going to see when they're looking at it on their iPhone, which is exactly what you want. I can have the most expensive display on the planet, but if it's not calibrated to match Apple display colors, you can't rely that their experience is going to be the same as yours, and sometimes that difference can be dramatic. How does the nano texture feel with an Apple Pencil? It has a smooth, ever so gentle, sensitive glide to it, but you feel the surface. There's a glide. There's a beautiful fluidity to the line when you're drawing on it, exactly as you'd feel if you were drawing with a Cintiq, drawing on a Cintiq. This is unapologetically a pen display. Forget calling it nano texture. The iPad Pro with nano texture is in fact Apple iPad's official first true pen display for artists. That's my opinion, and I'll take it to the grave. Drawing on it is one of the most lovely experiences you're going to get drawing. Not leaps and bounds different than a Cintiq, but it's in that ballpark, and it's definitely a smoother, higher quality display. Now, the drawing experience isn't the only benefit of the nano texture. Again, this is something that Apple never really gave much airtime. It's also lovely on the fingers. I have, if you look at any general iPad specifically, iPhones generally tend to not be as bad, but any glass screen picks up on all the oils. It's got a resistance. It's got a tackiness with your fingers, as Chris Piasek puts it. He's actually the first one I saw positively review the nano texture. It doesn't have that resisting tackiness that a standard glass screen will have. Furthermore, it's not an oily finger smudge magnet either. The glide you feel with your fingers on the surface is smooth as silk. And I've used this iPad not only for artwork, I used it for, reading, I used it for taking notes, I used it for all different types of things. And the general usage, the general feel of using this display on the fingertips is silky smooth. So the fact that this greatly, not even a little bit, greatly improves the touch experience doesn't only make the pencil experience better, but it makes the overall experience of the iPad in general better. I personally also prefer having matte screens that diffuse light. So for instance, I have my TV over here. This is the Samsung Frame TV. And it too has a matte screen on it to mimic what an image on canvas might be like. And I very much prefer watching movies and playing games on this screen than I do on a gaming screen that has super high contrast. I really like that kind of screen quality, and this falls into that category. The color fidelity and the contrast is perfect, and I absolutely love it. That being said, how do I feel about the new squeeze feature? I like to use that pinch feature for commonly used tools. So if I'm reading a book and I want to take notes in it, I use the pinch feature to open up the menu, and I can pick a color to underline and take notes and stuff like that. Or if I'm using it as a drawing in my drawing apps, 99% of the time I'm using that pinch feature as the eyedropper tool. And that's generally how I set my action buttons on my Wacom Cintiq pen, on the stylus. I just use one of my buttons to actuate the eyedropper, touch, to color pick, and then let go and draw. Color pick, draw, color pick, draw. It's very, very fast that way. And if anybody's interested, this is the paper-like, if I can get it to focus. This is the paper-like grip. I really like this because it's got a flat side and a pinch grip on it, so you can magnetize it to your iPad, so you don't have to take it off every time you magnetize it. I really like these ones. And they come in 2 sizes when you get them. Non-sponsored, just like the product. That said, this brings me to my recommendations. Who do I recommend this to? I don't recommend it, funny enough, to the general user. And the reason being is, Apple was deliberately not marketing nano texture to artists, and they hid it behind the 1 or 2 terabyte model because they knew the only people who would really be grabbing it quickly and offering reviews of it were content creators like me that review this tech regularly and are always getting the new stuff so they can share their opinions with the public. So for somebody like me, yeah, I'll grab it because I want you to know what it's like, because that's my job. Or Brad Kalbo, right, who is the de facto tech YouTuber for artists. It's being blocked behind a 1 or 2 terabyte upgrade, which is a substantial extra cost. I don't think it's as important a feature as Apple Pencil Hover is. But it's really nice, but it's not necessary. So my recommendation to most people watching this is just get the standard one. Just get the standard one. Or even better yet, get the M2 iPad Air, which also supports the new pencil, and or the M2 iPad Pro and get it secondhand for a really good price. And get a screen protector. If you want a permanent screen protector, my personal recommendation is the Paperlike. It's a little bit more pricey, but it's much finer and it's a little bit nicer. It doesn't chew away your nibs, and it tends to be a lot better. Or if you're looking for a magnetized one, so you can take it off, so you can get that nice glass display for content consumption and stuff, and only put the screen protector on when you're drawing, then I recommend the one from Astropad. That's my personal favorite. I've tried a lot of them out, and the rock paper pencil kit is really, really awesome. It magnetizes really well, and the surface on it is really, really nice. And it doesn't damage the integrity of the display. The colors are still nice, albeit it will be grainy. It's not a nano texture glass, and you're saving yourself hundreds of dollars that you can put towards something else. That's my first recommendation. For anybody who has a little bit of extra change and they want to, they can take advantage of the 1 terabyte because they're students and they need it to be able to load a lot of data onto this, and they might as well spend a little bit more to get the nano texture glass. It's worth the money, in my opinion. Otherwise, I don't recommend this one. I recommend the next one, because mark my words, make a timestamp of this and call me out if I'm wrong. When the next iPad Pro comes out, maybe the M5, maybe the M6, who knows, they are going to make nano texture glass available to the standard entry-level iPad, with maybe just a little bit of a price hike to it, just for the nano texture glass itself, instead of having to pay for 1 or 2 terabytes. I believe what this is a test subject to see how artists respond to this product. And I wouldn't be surprised if Apple listens to this video. They get some other detectives to go and check out to see what the art community says about it. And if Apple, if you're listening, this is a stellar pen display. It is magnifico. I absolutely love it to pieces. You have my permission to put it on the entry-level iPads so that you're not forcing artists to pay through the nose to get their hands on this kind of stuff, because it's a really, really lovely experience to draw on this kind of stuff. But like I said, Apple's not going to advertise this as an artist product, because then they're alienating everybody else and people are going to think, okay, I'm going to skip over this one because this is just an artist upgrade. And they want as many people to buy it as possible because it's in their best interest to make money, obviously, right? Apple, you nailed it. You knocked it out of the park. I think it's an absolutely stellar product. Make it available for everyone in the next edition. And yeah, happy shopping. Take care.